the breath that draws my gaze within and gently flows outside again, the breath of love that we live in. Love breathes to me, love breathes to me, love breathes to everyone and breathes to me. And when the world's too much for me and all my fears feel unrelieved, I feel peace in air I breathe. The temple bells, the oceans roar, our spirits with each other soar. The God of love comes back for more. I am divine, I know it. I am pure love, I know it. Because God breathes love into me. We are of love's creation. Our breath is love's elation. Love is all that we can be. Love breathes to me. Love breathes to me. Love breathes to everyone and breathes to me. Love breathes to me. Love breathes to me. Love breathes to everyone and breathes to me.
Welcome to the beginning
Of your life,
Welcome to the beginning
of our lives.
Welcome to the beginning. Oh,
Come on, let's go. It starts today, you know.
the beginning.
Of your life,
Welcome to the beginning.
of our lives.
Welcome to the beginning. Oh, come on, let's go.
Welcome to your show. Time is wasting if you're hasting. Taste the moment, everlasting. Get on your horse, dear. Let go of all fear. Fully see here what love is showing. Nature growing, water flowing, hair is growing, people are knowing. Life is liable to be tribal on arrival.
It's the beginning.
Of your life,
Welcome to the beginning.
to the beginning of your life.
Welcome to the beginning. Oh, come on, let's go.
It starts today, you know. Sweet surrender, and a bender. Negativity, return to sender. Heart relating, meditating, anticipating.
It's the beginning.
Of your life,
Welcome to the beginning.
it's the beginning of your life.
Welcome to the beginning.
Oh,
Come on,
let's go. Welcome to your show.
come on, you know.
Your life begins when you begin to love.
We are love. Feeling, feeling, feeling.
This morning. So what a blessed day it is today at the Napa Valley Center for Spiritual Living as we continue to open up to Spirit in all its wondrous ways through us, as us. And part of that is music. Welcome back. Let's hear some music this morning. Narayan Janet, thank you very much for being here today.
It's our pleasure.
All right.
Are you guys ready to sing? Or okay. We wrote this for Jay. Just take our seeds of healing, plant them, let them grow. Just take our seeds of healing, plant them, and let them grow. Gathering the flowers from our healing. Shine on, let it show. Gathering the flowers of our healing. Shine on, let them show.
Once more.
Take our seeds of healing, plant them, and let them grow. Gathering the flowers of our healing. Shine on, let it show. Take our seeds of healing, plant them, let them grow. Gathering the flowers of our healing. Shine on, let it show.
Wow. I am so honored. You guys just put that together in a few days and it just comes.
As soon as we can hear what your talk is, we get going.
Beautiful. Let's give them another round of applause. It's a beautiful song. You can sing that anytime. You don't have to wait for the right topic there. So we like to begin each service with our vision and mission statement. So if you'll look up on the screen and read with me. We are an inclusive community for spiritual growth and compassionate action. And our mission statement, we are co-creating a world that works for everyone by living intentionally, loving unconditionally, and seeing God in all people and all faiths. A great affirmation for us today, and the music was too, so we're ready to rock this morning, right? So glad to have you here today. If this happens to be your first time with us or your first time in a while, a special welcome to you. We'll have an honoring of you later in the service, but in the meantime, just sit back and enjoy the service we have planned for you. Before we begin, we'd like to give you a couple of announcements that are important. First of all, we have a big event coming up on September 17th, and it's called our Gratitude Celebration. We invite all of you to be here. The things that this community has done to keep us from more than just surviving during the past few years, but to really be alive and connected and open. We really appreciate it. So this event is just about gratitude. We will, so we'll start at 4 p.m. for a reception that's going to have appetizers and wine and special waters and teas and different things, and just kind of a general reception. At 4:45, we'll start a program. And the program will be one of gratitude, thanking everybody for what they've done, as well as talking about our vision for the future and what we have ideas about. And we appreciate your support for everything that you've been in this community, every one of you, of your gifts of time, talent, and treasures, and just your presence is important for this community to continue to be alive. What our vision is that we want to go from being alive to thrive. So we feel like there's more we can do in the world, but we need to do it from a vision, from spirit, rather than our own thoughts. So we're opening up to spirit. We're opening, and feel free that part of that over the next 2 months, we're going to get input from you. And our symbol for this whole gratitude celebration, as well as our vision for the future, is this hot air balloon. And what we ask is, because we need to plan for food and drink, is that if you could please RSvP for this event. The link is online under events. It's not on the front page of our website, because to tell you the truth, this is not open to people outside of our community. This is meant to be a community gratitude event for the things that people have done to help continue to support this community. And also, if by chance you can't be there, or if somebody's online unable to make it for whatever reason, there will also be a link in the event section, or went out on email this morning, that you can tune into the program, that you can watch the program if you're going to be out of town for any reasons, or you live out of town, or you just can't make it that day. So something to put in your calendar. That's 2 Saturdays from now. So it should be, and hopefully we'll have cooler weather by then. So 4 o'clock should be okay, though. And then also, as part of that, this month we're using Avatar, the movie, as a metaphor during the talks during September. So this coming Friday, we're actually going to show the movie. Right now, you can't. You have to rent it online. It's actually going to come back to the movie theater in, I don't know when exactly, I think in October sometime, but you can see it right here on the screen right here. We're going to show the full movie and we're going to have popcorn and just come and join us 7 o'clock on Friday. And afterwards, let's talk about the movie a little bit, what it means to you and what's important to you about it. So we'll do that. So Friday, 7 o'clock on September 9th. And I also just want to acknowledge people who stayed after the service last week for the Grand Cremes. It was a beautiful Spanish-speaking ministry fundraiser. It was really great. It continued after many of you left until like 4:30, because the music kept playing and the speaker it was a beautiful day. It was a really wonderful event. So thank you everybody who supported that. I think they raised, I'm not sure, I haven't heard the final amount, but over $1,000 I know. So it was great to do that, supporting their ministry, their Sunday services, and their weekly meditation as well. And then we're still looking for new members of the visioning team. We have about 7 or 8 people so far, but we can always have more. Link is online or there. And then you'll notice that we have name tags today. We appreciate you being a part of wearing these name tags. If you don't have a name tag, talk to Mary about it. And if you could remember, please, to put your name tags back on the little hooks when you leave. We alphabetize them by first names today. And by the way, do you know what letter has the most, starts most first names more than any other letter? Somebody said it. What is it again? Yeah, J. J. Yep. Over twice as many as any other letter. And if you start thinking about it, go, oh yeah. There's a lot of J's in this world. So, and but if you want to hang it up by your last name, that's fine. It's just where you know where to find it. If you have because if you're one of those J names, it's pretty crowded in there. So, anyway, so that's great. Thank you for wearing them and keep engaged here. And today, after this service, we're just right here in the sanctuary, we're just going to have a celebration of life for Pam Smith. She was one of our dear members and dear friends, and we just want to spend time just talking about her, sharing stories about her. If you have a story, if you just want to hear other people talk about her and honor her for who she was, just a person of service and of love. And we just want to take about an hour to talk about her, and we'll have a reception afterwards too. So we'll finish the service, have coffee, and come back in at 12:15 if you can. We're having some people come from out of town as well to come to this service. So, and then we're here for you for prayers. There's online prayer requests in the lobby. They're online. You can stay after the service to pray with a practitioner. And also you'll find on our website any kind of information you need, but to know that we are here for you in whatever situation. Feel free to reach out and ask us for prayer, ask us for what you need. We'll find a way to help you and support you in your times, whatever that need might be. So thank you for being here. And now we'll begin the rest of our service, our sacred part of our service.
Well, I know a place where I can be when I feel disconnected and down. It's deep in my heart, deep in my soul, deep inside of me. I know a place where I can be when I need nurturing. It's deep in my heart, deep in my soul, deep inside of me.
So as we begin our opening prayer, if you'd like to soften your gaze or close your eyes. So in this moment, we just breathe in this beautiful, quiet morning. We just know we are blessed and graced by the presence of Spirit, that divine intelligence that expresses in us, as us, through us, and for us, always for our highest good, always with love. So we know everything that happens today in our beautiful center is filled with love. We know our hearts are connected, that our consciousness is connected in this abiding and deep love. So we extend that love and consciousness out into the world because we know others are suffering in Pakistan, in the Ukraine, in other parts of the world, and maybe even in our own hearts today. So just knowing that we are blessed, knowing that everything that happens in this center is filled with that divine presence. Every word spoken, all the music, we're just so grateful for this truth, and we take a moment of silence to contemplate that. So just knowing this good, knowing this truth, accepting this deep love, we give thanks, we let this be, and so it is. So this month we're talking about thinking globally and acting locally. So I started thinking what that means spiritually to me. And I actually thought of when you do prayer, because when I do a prayer, I almost always start it the same way. There is only one life. That is the life of God, Goddess, all that there is. I am one with that life. I was created by that life. And that's my life now. And if it's the truth for me, it's also the truth for you. And it also made me think of a prayer my sister taught me years ago that goes something like, if one is harmed, all are harmed. If one is healed, all are healed. So in the name of who I am, one with all that there is, I let whatever happens here be for the best and highest good of all concerned. And I give thanks that it is so. So to me, that's thinking globally. And then when I think about acting locally, I think of the acts and actions we do of service in the community, but also how we conduct ourselves in our own heart and consciousness doing that good. And so I have a very wonderful Buddhist friend who told me a story recently that's based on an ancient Buddhist koan about a speck of dust. And if you pick up a speck of dust, you pick up the whole world. And so any undertaking of doing good or being of service, you have to know you're picking up the whole world. Because the whole world is not just the good you intended, but it's also the bad and everything that comes along with it. It's the entirety of the whole world. So every good thing has bad things that come with it, and there's always unintended consequences for what we do, so we have to be conscious of that and consider that. And that could be overwhelming, like it's too futile, why do it? But if we do nothing, then we just watch the world suffer. So I had to learn this lesson in a really hard way because I retired about 1.5 years ago, and the last 2 years of my career in public health were deeply enmeshed in the work of the pandemic of COVID-19. So, we were working so hard and we were doing positive cases and isolating people and quarantining and setting up testing in the community and setting up vaccine clinics. But along with that came a lot of unintended consequences. We saw people with power and money get tested first and vaccinated first, increasing inequity in our community. We had anti-vaxxers and anti-maskers who were really mad. We had vaccine wars and ugly politics. So there were lots of unintended consequences with trying to do good, even to the extent of nasty emails and death threats to our public health officials who are trying to protect our community. So it's easy. It was easy to get exhausted and cynical and blame and judge and be really pissed off about all of that, and also demoralized. But the thing is, if we did nothing, then more people in our community would get sick, and there would be more hospitalizations, and more people would die. So we had to keep going. So the spiritual lesson for me is, as I do good, as I try to perform acts of loving kindness, can I accept the own light and darkness inside myself, the own good and bad? Can I accept my own shadow so I don't project it onto other people with blame and judgment, or think that my good that I'm doing is better than your good, which we know is not true. So acting with compassion and acting locally for me means that we have that compassion and we take care of our own consciousness and manage our own feelings and thoughts so that we can treat even perceived enemies with compassion and not create more enemies. So as we lift up the world, we lift up the entirety of the world with a speck of dust. Thank you.
Community. Community. Time to get down to helping each other. Everyone here is your sister and your brother. So hold me close and love me do. You know I'll do the same for you. We are the New World family. Come on, share this earth with me. We are the New World family. Come on and share this earth with me.
I listen to my enemies, finding common threads.
Hey, you might not agree with me, but we can still be friends. We are the New World family. Come on and share this earth with me. We are the New World family. Come on and share this earth with me. Community. Community. I give to you in front of me. I receive your light. I give to you on the left of me. Receiving from the right. Oh, I give to you from the heart of me, yeah. And I receive your love. I give from my heart. I give from my heart. I give from my heart. We are the New World family. Come on, share this earth with me.
Come share this earth with me. Come share this earth with me.
Come on.
Come share this earth with me.
Share the earth.
Come share this earth with me.
We're all in this together. With me.
Bringing us a little new age funk today. Well done. Love it, love it, love it. Great message today. Thank you so much. So, great introduction of the theme today about thinking globally and acting locally. I know with our own faith tends to be introspective and receptive. So sometimes we don't. We tend to be more introverted in our action, and I agree that, I mean, we're actually, our whole bodies are just a cosmic speck of dust, that we're made out of the cosmos, and sometimes we think we're insignificant. But at the same time, any work that we do within ourselves, any kind of healing, consciousness work has an effect. And we need to accept that. And even in our own little Napa Valley here, which tends to be a little insular too, because we don't have perhaps some of the problems as major cities have of crime or homelessness. I mean, we have it, I'm not saying that, but not to the degree that maybe other cities have, that we're kind of in the Shangri-La and pretend things out there don't. But I mean, there's major traumas going on right now. There's fires in far northern California. There's floods and water problems in different areas of this nation and the world. And the truth is, we can't do everything the world needs. We can't physically do that. You know, we can have prayers for areas of conflict or concern. We send light and love to them, but we can't physically do everything the world needs. But the world needs everything we can do. Every step we can take to. And part of that is just a consciousness, a universal consciousness, like Laura was talking about, of oneness, and knowing that. And then mindfully we take action. We take it with a sense of guidance, a sense of openness, a sense of willingness to do what we can do. Now, it's sometimes that action, just like Laura and her, first of all, I appreciate your service to the county and to us personally, and I know it was a hard time, traumatic. And I know a lot of first responders and nurses and teachers even, restaurant workers. I mean, we were all affected by that. And we can be disheartened, we can be disappointed, we can feel like we don't make a difference. And as Mother Teresa said, be kind, love anyway, open your heart anyway. And this is what I would call the path of forgiveness, the path of healing. So I'm excited about today's message, that talking about the seeds of healing. And what I mean by that is, just last week I did a Mythbuster talk, right? And so I said that there is no form of spirit out there, but there is a creative intelligence that doesn't have form or gender or place, nowhere yet everywhere, and it is guiding us. So it's not somebody out there who's guiding us, but something within ourselves that's connected to this creative intelligence that guides us towards areas where we might need healing, or where healing is opening up, or a way to express our spiritual magnificence in even greater ways. There's nothing wrong with us. We are perfect and complete right where we are. And sometimes there's something in us, and it could be hidden from us. It could be invisible, but we all have had experiences, some little, some big losses, toxic workplaces, breakups, divorces, situations, our physical conditions, things in our life where we have lost someone or something. And even if we have grieved it at the time, or perhaps we postponed that grief because we couldn't deal with it at that time, there's levels of grief, levels of healing. And when we're open to Spirit, it'll reveal to us that which is seeking to be brought to light again, brought to the surface. That which we've left hidden or weren't ready to deal with comes up. And if we're still not ready to deal with it, that's okay too. It will continue to subtly nudge us, to subtly encourage us to do the forgiveness work, to do the healing work. And when I'm talking about healing, I'm talking about healing in body, mind, heart, and soul on all aspects. And when healing is not always a cure for our physical situations. And I know, personally, I know some very conscious, mindful, heartfelt people who still have a chronic condition or they're struggling with chronic pain. And it's not that they didn't do their prayers enough or they didn't believe enough or they didn't do, And what I also know is there's healing that can happen on emotional, spiritual levels, even if the cure doesn't happen. And I also know that there are often, very often, cures that happen too. Tumors that shrink, conditions that were once diagnosed that disappeared, things slowly or sometimes quickly get better in terms of our symptoms. And it certainly helps that we do our spiritual work, that we can feel this mental equivalent of healing within us. And that's why I want to talk about the seeds of healing, because I believe the seeds that are within us that we plant grow. And first, what happens in consciousness, in our forgiveness work, manifests in our physical body. It does work when we work it. And so we just allow what is, we accept it, we acknowledge it, we're aware of it. We do the forgiveness work or the healing work that we need to do, and then we choose that which we want to experience. We choose again. What I know is that some situations in my life are they're small losses. They're small molehills, if you want to call them that. And then there's some that are mountains. And the mountains are the ones that are harder to shift because they're mountains. To move a mountain takes a lot of work. Sometimes it's one spoonful at a time, but I have seen mountains disappear for people. I've also noticed in my own life some molehills I have that I've made into mountains because of my worry or fear or avoidance, procrastination, different ways. So that's why we want to keep as current as possible, keep open to what that is coming forth. Carolyn Meis, the mystic and writer, says that the soul always knows what to do to heal itself. The challenge is to silence the mind. The soul always knows what to do to heal itself. The challenge is to silence the mind. I know when I quiet my mind and I'm willing to pay attention, I am led towards healing. I'm led towards what to let go of, what to release, what to be willing to feel, to be present with in my life. I know that some of the work that I've done in my healing is like a soul retrieval. It's really deep work, really deep work. And it's taken time and a process. Other things, it's like, I'm still holding on to that. Okay, it's gone. You know, so there's different levels of healing. I remember when I lived in Texas and I was involved in a spiritual community and I for a couple of years, and it was like a new age kind of meditation and group therapy kind of thing, and I became aware through a process that it was a very harmful place. It was hurtful, it was toxic, and so I left there and actually moved out to California and lived in Oakland for a while. It was like a breath of fresh air, and then something inside of me, I was just renting, it was just temporary living there, but something inside of me was led me to go back to Texas, and all of me was resisting it because I didn't want to go back to that situation, to that harm, that where I felt that hurt that I felt, but something really, and so I was aware I could be some unhealed part of myself wanted to go back into a toxic relationship with these people. So I kept aware of that, but I did visit that community again. I moved back to Texas, visited that community, and I became clear on that their manipulation no longer had a hold on me, and I became more powerful through it. That I knew I was in. I wasn't a victim, and I had the ability to choose again. And so sometimes that healing process is confusing, but we want to be wary because we don't want to go back into a dysfunctional relationship just because sometimes our mind can lead us go back to something that's comfortable. So just awareness, this mindfulness is really important. And then after being in Texas for about a year and a half, I moved to Colorado and I started a life there with my family, and it was wonderful. It was lots of fresh air there. So I could breathe that and continue that healing process. Just going back helped me with the healing process, but it's confusing sometimes that we do that. But we can always choose again. Gabrielle Bernstein, that we've been talking about in a class I'm teaching, Mental Equivalence, talked about that you notice any patterns you have, forgive yourself, forgive your thoughts, let go, and choose again. So anytime you find yourself in a situation that it feels very familiar, or you're re-traumatizing yourself because of a choice you made, or re-choosing something that was harmful, just notice it. Don't get caught into feeling bad about it or punishing yourself. Forgive yourself and choose again. And it moves us toward this healing, of this revelation of wholeness, and just this health of body, mind, spirit, and soul. And this month, what we're going to do is we're going to take this movie, Avatar, and talk about it as a metaphor for thinking globally and acting locally. And I will let you know, today we're just going to talk about the introduction to the movie. But by the end of this month, I will definitely be doing spoiler alert. So I will be telling you the whole movie. So take advantage to come this Friday to watch the movie, or to rent it on your own and watch it, unless you don't care if I spoil the whole thing for you. But it's really one of those movies that's very magical. James Cameron, who did Titanic and many other movies, doesn't do little movies. In fact, he had the vision for this movie over 20 years ago, probably 30 years ago by now, because it was released 10 years ago. But the technology, the movie technology, wasn't available for the movie he wanted to create. He had to wait till 10 years ago before it had the right kind of technology. It is science fiction. It's supposed to be in 2154, so about 130 years from now. And it's also a little scary because there's a possibility we could be where this movie is at in 2154. So basically, all the Earth's natural resources have been depleted because of our insistence on thinking we have dominion over those resources. And you can see that playing out from thousands of years ago till now. I mean, it started with spices and gold and oil and diamonds and countless other resources. I don't know if you know the newest resource that's become a huge commodity is cobalt. Does anybody know why cobalt is important? It goes in electric car batteries. So, and guess what? Those mines are in Africa. most of them. So that's the newest thing where low-waged people are doing the mining and the corporations and larger countries are profiting from them. So in the future, 2154, according to the movie, we have depleted all the resources on this planet. So what do? We go to other planets, right? And start exploiting them. So there's a planet called Pandora that's a moon in the Alpha Centaurus star system. It's inhabited by the Na'vi, a 10-foot tall, blue-skinned, human-like being that lives in harmony with nature. And last week we talked a little bit about panentheism. They are panentheistic. They're nature-based. They believe in a higher power that they call Awa, and that is their supreme being, who they believe they are part of. They are one with us, and it is more than them. It sounds familiar, right? So that we believe we are God, but we are so much more, and that's why we love this. I love this movie so much. And this deity continues to guide them in everything they do. So, and then there's a main character, Jake Sully, who's shown here, who has an interesting recurring dream of flying. And then he says, it's a beautiful dream, and then he wakes up. And he wakes up to his life on Earth that is a decimated planet. He's in a wheelchair. He was a soldier, presumably from an accident or a conflict that he was injured in. And he, even on his soldier's pay, can't afford the surgery. It's possible that he could walk again, but can't afford the surgery. So he is seeking healing from the very beginning of the movie. And then his identical twin brother dies. And so he's in another loss now, but it also gives him an opportunity because his brother was involved in part of a science group, anthropologists and scientists that were on this planet Pandora, who were able to take these hybrids of human and Na'vi DNA bodies and enter them through a cryoprocess kind of thing, and they were going into the native villages and talking to them and learning about them from a scientific point of view. So his brother was one of those people, so they recruited him to be there because his brother had died and he had the same DNA, so he could be part of this group. And so he wasn't a scientist, he was a soldier, he was a warrior, but he had this chance that he could make the money to be able to walk again because he could afford the surgery. So right away it was self-serving what he did, but he found so much more because I believe, it's a movie, it's fiction, but it just seems like through the whole movie that he's being led towards healing on a physical, emotional, spiritual, soul, and heart level, on all levels. So today as we explore this, I want you to think about for yourself how do you know when healing is being sought within you? And how do you know what is right action and what is back to dysfunctional behavior or back to being re-traumatized? And right now, what is this divine creative intelligence we're talking about guiding us? So we're talking about these seeds of freedom, seeds of healing, and I believe they guide us towards freedom. So as I said, Jake Sully from the beginning was seeking freedom. He had this dream of flying, and probably not in his dream, but in his mind, walking again. But we all have certain kinds of injuries, whether they're invisible, hidden to other people that we might keep closed in, or maybe they're even hidden from ourselves about our unforgiveness, our feeling of lack or unworthiness. And Spirit is always not only healing, but seeking to have you let go of those things, to forgive those things, to heal those things so you can be in your spiritual magnificence. But Jake Sully was definitely conflicted, and he wanted this experience of being free. So he traveled. It took 6 years to get to Pandora. He was in some sort of a cryo sleep kind of thing. So many light years away, got to this planet, and he shows up. And not sure what he's getting into, doesn't understand because he hasn't been part of the science team. But he's able to go through the process of being able to live, be alive through this 10-foot creature, this the naive, the hybrid that was a human hybrid mix. And so he found some freedom. This is him when the first day he's in this big body. He's still, wearing his hospital gown because he's just been in this in a hospital setting where he's trying on the suit basically, and he finds his freedom here. You can see him a little clumsy, but he's moving his body. And he's getting more and more confidence, feeling that, and just being able to walk again was amazing him. The freedom he felt in moving and faster and being able to go around obstacles and things like that. And just moving forward because he was physically fit. He was a soldier before he was injured. And this is him in the chamber where and then he stops and just feels his body, is grounded, feels his feet, feels the earth again. So he finds his freedom. And what I'd like to say is that we can all feel this groundedness, this freedom, this beauty by allowing Spirit to come through us, to guide us, to inform us, to be present. And the other beautiful thing about so then he went to in a few days as he began to understand this new body he was in that would be just for 6 to 8 hours at a time, and then he'd go back to his human body, so it couldn't be permanent. But he was also where he got into trouble and was saved by one of the tribes. Her name is Neytiri, and she's first of all wanted him to go away, just helped him survive, but then said that sky people is what the natives, the people called humans, sky people, but they also called them sleepwalkers or something like that. I can't remember the title right now. The people that were not real of the naive tribe. So she didn't want anything to do with him. But then this happened, and this is where my title came from about seeds of healing, because these little light beans are from a healing tree, and they're seen flying around, but they never do this kind of thing. That they're actually landing on him, they're guided towards him, this light, this what I would call a seed, what might also be called an angel or a messenger. And Neytiri is just in awe that this happened, because he is a sky person. He's a sleepwalker. This shouldn't be happening. The Spirit is happening to him. But it was so much a miracle in her mind that she took him back. And they didn't let skywalkers go into, or sky people, sleepwalkers go into the deep part of their community. But she took him back because she saw it as a sign. And what's amazing about this is that there was some divine things going on here, according to the movie. There was some synchronicity going on that opened up this pathway of healing for all people that we know. And so what also we know about this is that the divine seeds of healing reveal health and wholeness. That Neytiri was a guide for Jake Sully, but she also was a guide for herself, leading him through the jungle, through the light, through where he did learn to fly, connect with a dragon. And they have these amazing tails, kind of a hair braid that connects with life in different ways, that connects with healing. And so she led him through. And what I also know is these divine seeds of healing lead us home. And what I mean by home is this heart, our connection with our heart, with spirit, with oneness, and with a community of people that you're connected with, that you can feel at home with, that all parts of you are accepted, that you don't have to leave part of you outside or anywhere, that you can come with all of you, all of that you maybe parts you feel broken at times, or part of you that's a very deep spiritual being, part of you that is anxious about things, and the part of you that wants to learn how to love more and be at peace more. All aspects of you. This week, I started reading a new book by Dr. Thema Bryant Davis. And she wrote a book called Homecoming, Overcoming Fear and Trauma to Reclaim Your Whole Authentic Self. Now, she's a psychologist, renowned psychologist. She's president-elect of the American Psychology Association. She was also the daughter of a minister. And so she believes in church community, and she also advocates for mental health. But this book is really amazing because it talks about her own personal journey of healing after sexual assault and racism. And she also tells stories with the permission of some of her clients and the stories they have and the multiple layers of grief that they have, that they experience. The little losses and the big losses. And what she says in her book that I really like is to pay attention to the patterns and remember that the ways you learn to survive may not be the ways you want to continue to live, heal, and shift. That there are new ways we adapted during the pandemic, for instance. And those experiences affect us, but they don't define us. Our wellness and authenticity are actually where we are at home. So we think that safety might be not being real or hiding from others, but really our true home is where we can be and where we're willing to be, healthy, whole, authentic, and open to spirit. What I find about her work is it sounds very similar to Gabrielle Bernstein, very similar to what we talk about here, that we just notice patterns we have, we forgive ourselves, we let go, and we choose again. We choose health, we choose wellness, we choose authenticity, we choose willingness. And her particular background is in Christianity, and I know that sometimes I talk about concerns I have about interpretations of the Bible and different things, but I want to be clear that I believe that Christianity is a true path. It's not the only true path. There are many true paths there. And the way we know our own true path is to be connected and harmonized with life itself, with spirit that opens us up and allows us to know the truth of who we are. She says self-care in our healing process is essential, but so is community. That we need to be intentionally nourishing ourselves, but also intentional about the nourishing that takes place in a relationship and in community. She talked about in the Bible, in the Old Testament, in the Torah, that the synagogues, the temples had an inner temple and an outer temple. And she said that's like our relationships. Our inner temple is reserved for those people who are willing to listen, who are willing to hold our development, our evolution, that we don't have to have things figured out all the time, that we can come with our raw feelings and exploration and concerns and worries, and it can be heard right where it is without judgment or criticism. And then we have an outer temple, an outer area where we have lots of different friends, and some of those friends come into our inner temple with us. But whatever, we always have Spirit in our inner temple. We always have this guidance. And we can always come home to a greater truth of who we are. I wanted you to pull out, if you didn't get one of the green cards coming in, raise your hand, and we have some more of those. Did anybody not get a green card? We have one up here. Well, she'll come up in just a minute. But this is up front here. This is a poem, I guess you would call it, or I would call it affirmations, more like, that Dr. Thema Davis wrote. And what she said in her book is, she said, if these words don't work, change them for what works for you. And that's the important thing about it, is it's meant to be a blessing, an affirmation, even call it a prayer. What I love the way she talked about prayer was that that most people's prayers are about a petition or asking or invitation, which she says is okay. She's not judging that, but she said we also need to leave room for receptive prayer, a quiet prayer, a listening prayer, a receiving from Spirit. And I think that's an important part of what we teach, that we not only pray, but we allow some silence. And I think that's important in this kind of, my hopes is you take this home and use this. Like I said, change the words as you need to. But I kind of want to read through this together. So I will read the first one. I'd like you just to repeat it after I say it the first time. So here's the first one. I am blessed from the top of my head to the soles of my feet. I receive peace in my spirit, heart, mind, and body. I apply loving kindness to my wounds and my memories. I'm fully aware that I am not alone in this journey called life. I'm open to myself to love, including love for myself. I allow truth to show up and liberate me from the limitation of lies that I have been told about myself. I tell myself the truth. I'm learning to be more compassionate, present, open, generous, connected, and willing to release what I no longer need. My soul tells my heart, mind, body, and spirit, welcome home. So, welcome home. I hope you find this to be a spiritual home, and I hope you find the home in your own heart, in your own space, in your own prayers. And I know this to be the truth, and so it is.
Alright, don't you know everything's gonna be alright, everything's gonna be alright, everything is alright, everything is alright, everything is alright, everything is alright, everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright. I know everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything is alright. Alright. Everything is alright. No, everything is alright. Alright. We're getting burned by overexposure. Sometimes it might seem we're in it alone. Let's help each other, let it grow.
So let me take your hands and rock with you, baby. Together we'll plant the seeds of healing. We'll do what we can. We'll find our way, baby. It's understood. It's gonna be good.
Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything is alright. Everything's alright. Everything is alright. Everything is alright. Let's find a place in our hearts together. Together we can do it much better. Grab onto your faith, it will get better. Just release, relax, and let go.
So let me take your hand and walk with you, baby. Together we'll plant the seeds of healing. We'll do what we can. We'll find our way, baby. It's understood. It's gonna be good. So good. Everything is alright. Everything's alright. Everything's alright. Everything's alright. Yeah. Everything's alright.
Everything is alright, yeah. Everything is alright. Everything is alright. Yeah.
It's alright. It's alright.
Everything's gonna be alright. Everything is alright. Everything is alright.
Beautiful. Everything is all right. So this is a time in our service when we open up to the law of circulation. We invite you to participate in that. And we're going to do something a little different today, so hold on. We found that the aisles were really hard to work when we kind of had them rounded a little bit. Nobody knew exactly where to go, so we've created aisles, and we decided to bring back passing the plate rather than baskets, so you don't have to get up and figure out where you're going. So I'm going to invite the ushers to come forward. We know that which you give comes back to you 100% and brings your heart and your soul into overflowing. We have a number of ways that you can participate in the sharing of abundance. You can do online donations, text donations, or write checks, either bill pay or in person today. Cash donations. We appreciate, know that which you give is opening up your soul in more ways. So take that which you have today to give, whether it be of love or a financial contribution, and bring it to your heart and repeat after me this affirmation. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate, and so it is. Thank you.
I just want to thank you for all you bring to me. I just want to thank you. Your love set me free. I just want to thank you. For all you bring to me. I just want to thank you.
Thank you so much. Wonderful music today. It's really wonderful. So a couple of reminders is if you don't have a name tag, you couldn't find it out there, see Mary, we're glad to give you a name tag, even if you're just here every now and then. We'll always want to have you be able to identify yourself so we know you and can have a continuing community with you. Also, that this is the first Sunday of the month. We first of all want to ask if there's any new people here. We want to honor you. Raise your hand if you're here for the first time. I don't think we have anybody. Well, welcome back, everybody. This is also the first Sunday of the month, so we get to ask if you have a birthday in September. Raise your hand. We have Dale back here. We have Sunny, Dee, lots of birthdays here. Well, happy birthday. And how about anniversaries? Do we have any anniversaries? Anniversaries. What number is it for you guys? 33. 33 and a third. Nice. And we also honor recovery, sobriety anniversaries. If this is a time you celebrate that, obviously it's anonymous, so we don't ask you to announce it, but we just honor that pathway for those who are doing that, who are part of that, and the path. It's a challenging path, so we honor you right where you are, and appreciate and honor you. So all of you, we want to honor today with our blessing here. So we raise our hands and we say, we bless you today, knowing that the peace and happiness you seek is also seeking you. We honor your inner radiance as you let your light shine in the world. We are grateful for your presence in our community, and so it is. So there was something, so after the service, if you plan to come to the memorial for Pam, feel free to go out and get some coffee and come back in, and we'll be doing that. We'll start in about 12:15 here. So I know it's a hot day out there, so if you want to come in and just bring your coffee in here today, that's fine in the air conditioning. We're no problem. I know who's gonna be. I'm the person, so yeah, just talk to me about it. So let's do the community blessings. Let's all stand up for that. Repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening through me right now. I'm led by Spirit. I'm guided by wisdom. I'm protected by love. I am here to be a blessing. I am so grateful. And so it is. And now our closing song.
Trouble, no
As we go forth, I know that we are all coming home, and so it is. Have a great Sunday.
Say yes. Say yes.